Hello, I'm Nelly Mendez, and today I'm going to talk the investigation created by me and my college that is called Deficiencies in the Old Buildings of the Education Institutions in the District of Comas. This investigation is divided in 5 parts: introduction, method, results, discussion, and conclusion. For the introduction, population growth in metropolitan Lima has meant the emergence of new housing species in the city. In northern Lima, one of the districts that grew was Comas. Human settlements sprang up and their inhabitants need schools and college. This action implied the construction of educational infrastructure. However, this brought two further problems. The first one is referred to the physical and legal clearing of the land occupied by the educational premises and the empirical criteria uses in the construction of classrooms without adequate planning. Although the state was putting in interest in reducing education infrastructure gap, and they complementarily perform preventive and corrective maintenance actions. At the same time, the construction of schools follow the cumbersome path. This delayed investment required in schools and colleges. Method. Likewise, the study population considered of 97 public education institutions built in Comas district, corresponding to regular basic education levels. For this population, 50.5% were the preschool level, 32% at the primary level, and 70.5% at secondary level. In order to evaluate deficiencies in the old constructions of the education institution of the District of Comas, the defects were quantified by means of reports extrapolated from the Office of Education Infrastructure, based on a card in which three dimensions were considered: basic infrastructure, essential service, and infrastructure described by 15 indicators. Results. The objective of this study was to analyze the deficiencies in the old constructions of the educational institutions of the District of Comas, based on the percentage variation in period 2017 to 2020. For this purpose, a sample of education institution was considered based on critical components such as basic infrastructure, essential services, and advanced infrastructure. In the table 1, we can see the percentage of deficit in all buildings by levels or regular basic education. The percentage values refer to the proportion of the college and schools that constitute all constructions. The level with the highest percentage variation was the initial level for education. The table shows variation of 2.5, 2.43, and 2.38% corresponding to the three annual periods previously mentioned, and referring to 1 year with respect of each other. Finally, in the period of 2017 to 2020, the percentage valuation was 7.5% for initial education, while for primary education this was 3.61%, and for secondary education was 7.40%. In the table 2, we can see percentage of the basic infrastructure of old buildings by levels of regular primary education. Disregarding walls, roof, and floors. In the table 2, we can see that the level with the highest percentage variation was initial level of education also. And the table variations are 2.35, 1.15, and 1.40%, corresponding to the three annual periods. And to point out that the percentage variation for the period 2017 to 2020 was 4.71% for initial education, while for primary education was 5.81%, and for primary education level the percentage was 5.75%. In the table 4, percentage of advanced infrastructure of all buildings by level of regular primary education, the percentage value allowed to proportion of college and schools regarding the library, laboratory, workshops, teacher, administrative, computer, and internet. Find of the first period a percentage variation of 2.78% corresponding to initial education level. The next period, the percentage variation obtained was 2.70%, and in 2019 to 2020 period, the percentage variation achieved was 2.63% at the initial education level. Finally, the point of the three periods was 8.33% for initial education, while for primary education was 7.5%. Discussion. The first specific objectives, which focus on analyzing the deficiencies in all buildings' basic infrastructure, confirms that the educational institutions have been gradually confirming year by year the deterioration of their basic infrastructure. Gradually, the classroom has been succumbing to the passage of time and putting school children's life at risk. These results corroborate, on the other hand, the deterioration of the physical quality, the perception that parents have about the education institutions where their children study, finding it to be adverse. The second specific objective focuses on analyzing the essential service in the basic infrastructure: electricity, water, drainage, full toilets, and excellent or bad toilet. The results reveals percentage variation that remains stationary over time but shows several limitations in essential services, especially water and drainage. This relates hardness only further deteriorates the quality of life of school children, thus affecting their right to quality education. And the third specific objective focused on advanced infrastructure, that is, library, laboratory, workshop, teachers, administrative, computers, and internet. Result found for these components also confirms the percentage variations to the detriment of a better educational and human development of school children. Therefore, this line of denials ensures the existing weakness in educational infrastructure, which extends to the area of human development, the undermining of their right education, and growing deterioration of academic quality, which goes hand in hand with education infrastructure. Conclusion. The deficiency in all constructions of the educational institution of the District of Commerce were analyzed, whose reflection in the percentage variation found between 2017 to 2020 revealed that maintenance does not mitigate or strengthen the educational infrastructure, but there are palliatives that are worsening over time pursued by the academic coverage. Deficiencies in basic infrastructure were analyzed, confirming that this is a significant indication that foreshadows the quality and safety that both parents and students need to have quality education. So it is essential to replace educational infrastructure. Deficiency in essential services, confirming that this is a significant indication that it must be addressed if we seek to promote the right or quality education. As future perspective, it would be essential to focus on recently built schools to determine throughout a longitudinal study with other educational institutions that only benefit from modernizing them. The effects of perception produced by the design of an educational infrastructure academic performance of students. Thank you for listening.